we will discuss about the pharmacology of the receptors, the continuation of the adrenergic receptors. So in the adrenergic receptors, as usual, you know that in case of alpha beta receptors, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3 type of the receptors are there, and the G protein coupled receptor is most of the beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 or beta G stimulatory type of the proteins are there, and usually the beta 1 type of the receptors are activated by adenylyl cyclase and the calcium channels also. The beta 2 is also adenylyl cyclase, cyclic AMP and calcium channel. That's the molecular pathway. Whereas the beta 3 type of the receptors are also coupled with G proteins with stimulatory type of the proteins. So all these three receptors, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 are excitatory in action. Whereas the alpha subtypes, alpha 1 type of the receptors are combined with that of the GQ type of the receptors. GQ, sometimes GI or GO type of the receptors. And usually these are combined with varieties of the enzymes, especially the phospholipase C, phospholipase D, phospholipase A2, and also the calcium channels. Whereas the alpha receptors do have alpha 2 type of the receptor, alpha 1, alpha 2 type of the receptors, usually they are associated with especially the inhibitory type of the proteins, this adenylyl cyclase, the potassium channels, and also sometimes the calcium channels, whereas many times the phospholipase C and phospholipase A2. Usually the presynaptic alpha 2 type of the receptors are inhibitory in nature. And the rank of the potency of the agonists. So many agonists are there, namely isoproterenol, epinephrine, etc. So the order of the uh, uh, protein, order of the efficacy of these receptors is the isoproterenol is more effective than epinephrine, and it is equipotent or little more effective than that of the norepinephrine for beta adrenergic receptor, or else the isoproterenol is having stronger affinity to beta adrenergic receptors. Whereas the epinephrine, compared to coming to the alpha receptors, the epinephrine is having more what you call as the efficacy towards affinity towards the adrenergic receptors compared to the norepinephrine, or norepinephrine is still more what you call as the potent than that of the alpha adrenergic receptor when compared to the isoproterenol. Whereas in case of beta adrenergic receptor, isoproterenol is highly effective, whereas in case of the alpha adrenergic receptor, epinephrine is more and more selective and effective. And the alpha adrenergic receptor blocker, you have to remember one blocker or the antagonist to and agonist to each receptor. That's always very much required. You can mug up that particular thing. Please prepare a chart and write what is a specific agonist and specific antagonist to a particular type of the receptor. The selective beta adrenergic blocker is propranolol. Beta adrenergic blocker is propranolol. So all these drugs are used in cardiac disorders. Beta adrenergic receptors later are subdivided into beta 1, example those in the myocardium. In most of the cardiac tissue, it is myocardium, whereas the beta 2 is present in smooth muscle and most other site, whereas the beta 3 is present in the adipose tissues and also certain part of the central nervous system. So this beta 3 receptor is about 10-fold more sensitive to norepinephrine than the epinephrine, whereas it is resistant to blockade by antagonism such as the propranolol, very similar to that of the other receptor, especially beta 1, etc. It may mediate the response atypical pharmacological characteristic in adipose tissues, especially the beta 3 type of the receptors are very much involved in lipolysis process, especially in fight and flight reflex, or if the patient is or the human being or the animal is having starvation, then this receptor will be pharmacologically it is active. However, the role of this receptor in regulating the lipolysis is still now unknown, even though it is very well known that the beta 3 type of the receptors are involved in lipolysis process. The exact mechanism how it is going to do the lipolysis, it's once again a question mark. And alpha adrenergic agonists profoundly inhibit the release of norepinephrine from the neurons. Means usually the alpha adrenergic receptors with alpha 2 type of the receptors and with presynaptic in its location, it is going to inhibit the release of norepinephrine from the neurons. Alpha adrenergic antagonists increase the release of norepinephrine, especially acting on alpha 2 type of the receptor. And these presynaptic receptors are designated as alpha 2, whereas the postsynaptic are excitatory, whereas presynaptic are inhibitory in nature. So the alpha receptors which are excitatory are alpha 1, alpha 2 is inhibitory. That's very well known. Several times we are mentioning the same thing. Clonidine is a agonist at alpha 2 than alpha 1 receptor. Clonidine is a specific agonist of alpha 2 type of the receptors, whereas the phenylephrine and methoxamine are selective postsynaptic alpha 1 receptor agonists, phenylephrine and methoxamine, whereas the clonidine is an agonist at alpha 2 type of the receptor, whereas few alpha 1 adrenergic receptors function presynaptically in the autonomic nervous system. We have generalized that alpha 2 is presynaptic and the alpha 1 is postsynaptic, but that doesn't mean that it's a universal truth. Few alpha 1 adrenergic receptors function presynaptically in the autonomic nervous system. That's also possible. In few places, alpha 2 adrenergic receptor are also present at post-junctional or non-junctional sites in several tissues. So that doesn't mean that what we have made a general statement that most of the alpha 2 type of the receptors are pre-junctional, whereas the most of the alpha 1 type of the receptors are post-junctional. This is a general statement that it doesn't strictly mean that all the alpha 2 adrenergic receptors should be presynaptic or prejunctional. So there are so many exceptions are there for the location of this receptor. It also applies to all types of the receptors, including beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 type of the receptors. Here there is a flow diagram how these alpha adrenergic receptors are classified. These adrenergic receptors. So alpha adrenergic receptors and beta adrenergic receptors. So beta is classified as beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. And nowadays also it is told that beta 4 receptors are there and they are located in the central nervous system. And alpha receptors are subclassified as alpha 1 and alpha 2. And alpha 1 receptors are classified as alpha 1A, alpha 1B and alpha 1D. And whereas the alpha 2 type of the receptors are also classified as 4 subtypes, alpha 2A, 2B, 2C and 2D. These are the classification of the receptors, especially alpha and beta. It's very simple to remember. So it's not a difficult thing to remember, especially the types of the receptors. So there is a problem. Please hold on. Yeah, there was a technical problem. Not an issue. It is what you call as here. The subclassification of the receptors already you have learnt, and once again the second messengers which are involved in the what you call as the various subtypes of the alpha. These receptors are phospholipase C, inositol triphosphate. This alpha 1 is excitatory. All this diacylglycerol and calcium, they are all the second messengers or the effectors. Whereas the alpha 2, it is the decrease in the activity of the cyclic AMP. The beta 1 type of the receptors do associated with the second messengers as increase in the cyclic AMP activity. All these three, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 are associated with increase in cyclic AMP activity, whereas the selective agonists. So please remember this particular selective agonists and selective antagonists is very, very important. Alpha 1 selective agonists are phenylephrine and methoxamine. These are the two classical examples. Apart from this also so many are there. Whereas the selective antagonists are prazosin and doxazosin. These are the selective alpha 1 antagonists. Whereas the selective alpha 2 agonists are clonidine and clenbuterol. Whereas the yohimbine and edoxazine. These are the alpha 2 adrenergic antagonists. Whereas the dobutamine is a very specific beta 1 receptor agonist, whereas the atenolol or metoprolol both are beta 1 specific adrenergic antagonists. Whereas the beta 2, the adrenergic agonists are the salbutamol, terbutaline, salmeterol and formoterol, because the beta 2 is very specifically present on the windpipe or trachea. So whenever there is a requirement of antitussive agents and anti-asthma agents, all these drugs are used: salbutamol, terbutaline, salmeterol and many more drugs. Whereas the opposite action or the selective antagonists of the beta 2 type of the receptors are butoxamine. Whereas beta 3 still it is under development, and BRL 37344 is the classical example. Of course, the antagonist is yet to be known. And effects are what happens whenever we activate the particular receptors. See, tissue and effects like alpha 1 type of the receptors. Alpha 1 is always excitatory and postsynaptic in nature. So what happens is the blood vessels are going to constrict, whereas the bronchi, it's also going to constrict because alpha 1 is excitatory in nature. GI tract relax, it is inhibitory in case of the, because the subtypes alpha 1, 2, D, A, etc. there relax, whereas the GI sphincters contract. Uterus, it is going to contract, whereas the alpha 2 is usually inhibitory in nature, whereas the blood vessels, it is going to constrict, whereas the GI tract, it is going to relax. So summation of the action is alpha 1 plus alpha 2. And beta 1, of course, it is present in the heart. So most of the time, beta 1 is excitatory in case of the heart. In different places like the His fiber, Purkinje fibers, AV node, SA node, and myometrium, etc. The beta receptors are present and they are always excitatory. They are going to contract, means the heart rate will be increased. Beta 2 is going to dilate the blood vessels and bronchi. It's very specifically, we can say that the beta 2 type of the receptors are, their population is very high in case of the bronchi. Beta 3, as usual, it is present in the adipose tissue and also in CNS, whereas its action, how it is going to bring the action, especially the lipolysis, is yet to be understood. In the bladder, alpha 1 causes contraction. Most of the smooth muscles, the alpha 1, except in the GI tract, it is relaxes. And whereas the beta 2, it's going to relax the seminal tract. And heart, most of the time, very specifically, it is going to increase the heart rate because beta 1 is very specific, whereas beta 2 is also present, but it's inhibitory in nature. So these anatomically pre-junctional alpha 2 and post-junctional alpha 1 type of the receptors are there. Pre-junctional alpha 2 and post-junctional alpha 1 adrenergic receptors are usually its anatomical location, but there are recent evidences that there is additional heterogeneity of alpha 1 and alpha 2 adrenergic receptors because see the alpha 1 adrenergic receptors and many of the smooth muscle, they are going to contract, whereas in case of gastric smooth muscle, it is going to relax. So because this is the subpopulation, the distribution of the subpopulation of the receptor. So there are 3 alpha 1 adrenergic receptor as we have already known, alpha 1A, alpha 1B and alpha 1D. And of course, in alpha 1, A, B, D, C is not there. Please remember, in case of alpha 1A, alpha 1B and alpha 1D. Whereas in case of the alpha 2, there are once again 4 classifications are there, alpha 2A, 2B, 2C and alpha 2D is also recently found. In the brain, the alpha 2A subtype represents the presynaptic autoreceptor. So coming to the molecular basis of adrenergic receptor function, how at molecular level it is going to act, and activation of all types of the adrenergic receptor, especially the alpha 1 and alpha 2, beta 1 and beta 2 and beta 3 result from G protein mediated effects with second messenger activation with activity of the ion channels. So what is the basis for the action is this system, especially the activation of the receptor involves 3 interacting proteins. Number 1 is the first, the receptor, then there's a G protein, effector enzymes. All these are the proteins. The number 1 is the what you call as the receptor need to be binded with the neurotransmitter, maybe adrenal, especially in case of the adrenergic system, adrenaline or noradrenaline or adrenaline, epinephrine or norepinephrine. So it is need to bind with the receptor, then G proteins will be either activated or it is inhibited depending upon the type of the tissue, and effector enzymes or ion channels are activated. Ultimately, the action is initiated. And beta adrenergic receptor, 3 type of the beta adrenergic receptor share approximately 60% amino acid sequence. So there is a common amino acid sequence between beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3, whereas the beta 2 adrenergic receptor that interact with each of functional groups on catecholamine against molecule have been identified. There are once again so many type of the beta receptors are available.